Hello and welcome, creeps. You're listening to the Umbra Tapes, where we dive into unsolved mysteries, disturbing cases, and the downright weird. I'm Gabby.
And I'm Leah. Thanks for creeping in.
If you're enjoying the podcast, don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell so you never miss a new episode. New episodes are released every Friday. Follow the Umbra Tapes on your favorite social media platforms for sneak peeks and updates. If you'd like your small business featured in one of our episodes, or if you have a spooky story or a paranormal encounter to share with our listeners, click the link in the description below to send it our way. Now, let's creep into this week's episode.
This is part 4, the final episode where we're deep diving into the Warrens. In 1986, Alan and Carmen Snedeker were facing a challenge familiar to many families. Their teenage son, Philip, had recently been diagnosed with cancer. Because his treatments would take place at Hartford Hospital, the family needed a home nearby. They eventually rented a large Victorian house in Southington, Connecticut. It seemed like the perfect solution. Affordable, close to the hospital, there was only one detail the family claimed they hadn't fully understood before moving in. The house had once served as a funeral home. According to the Snedekers, remnants of the former life were still scattered throughout the building. Mortician tools, old embalming equipment, preparation tables. Some accounts claim these items remained stored in the basement when the family first moved in, though descriptions have varied over the years. Whether every detail has been remembered accurately after 4 decades is difficult to establish. What is certain is the family believed that they had moved into a house with a deeply unsettling past. According to Carmen Snedeker, it didn't take long before strange experiences began. She described hearing voices in empty rooms. Objects moved without explanation. Doors reportedly opened and closed on their own. Family members claimed to experience sudden temperature changes and an overwhelming sense that they were being watched. Philip, already enduring the physical and emotional strain of cancer treatment, later described seeing dark figures inside the house. He claimed shadow-like forms stood silently in doorways before disappearing. At times, he believed they approached his bed while he slept. Other members of the family reported seeing apparitions they described as former morticians. According to later interviews, these figures appeared dressed in dark funeral attire, silently watching the household. As the months passed, the claims became increasingly disturbing. Carmen later alleged that unseen forces physically assaulted her. She also later made allegations of SA by unseen entities, claims that became a central part of the later books and films based on the case. These accounts remain among the most controversial aspects of the entire investigation. They have never been independently verified, but they become fundamental to the family's description of what they believed they experienced. Would you live in a funeral home?
Yes. So I've seen Haunting in Connecticut. This is kind of cool. I actually didn't know when the first time that I saw the movie that the Warrens were the ones that did the case on that movie.
Yeah, it wasn't brought up in the movie, at all.
Not at all. So when I watched it, I had no idea this was the Warrens, but I really liked that movie. I really like that movie. It's got a lot of different kind of aspects
on the paranormal, right?
Yeah. Yes. It's got the physical apparitions. It's got the emotional side of everything with the cancer and
it definitely had an emotional beat.
Yeah, and it's got a happy ending, I guess you could say, and it's got closure, I should say.
Okay.
I wouldn't say happy ending, but a closure.
I remember
closure.
The bodies all burned in the walls and the writing on their skin and stuff. I mean,
well, they weren't burned. They burned the house down.
Yeah,
they burned the whole house down, but the bodies in the walls had the writing
on
them.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I remember that. It's a truly heartbreaking story if you peel back the layers of the paranormal. This family, they moved into this home trying to be closer to this hospital because their son has cancer. Along that way, some crazy stuff starts happening in the home, and it kind of leads you to question is what they're experiencing just due to emotional turmoil and stress or
medication that the boys
too,
on.
Absolutely. I don't know.
Which is kind of the angle they took at first in that movie.
Yeah, which totally makes sense for them to go that route in the first place, but it makes it even more heartbreaking when you know what's gonna happen next.
Yeah, it does. And the way that they portrayed the the sick kid, like, you really had a heart for him.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's heartbreaking, but it's a really cool movie. And I like how they did, like, the house itself is really cool, where like the funeral stuff was actually still in the basement.
Yeah.
Or the mortician stuff, I should say it was in like a separate room behind like a locked door. But of course, the boy with the cancer, he decided to stay in the basement. That's where he wanted to stay. That's where he felt more comfortable.
Yeah, okay.
Wow. He chose that room.
Yeah,
so.
I just think he didn't want to be like a burden on his family. Like, I think he even said that in the movie. Like, he didn't want people to hear him getting up and throwing up on all hours of the night. Would they just expect them not to open that door? Like, curiosity. That would have been the first thing I did when I viewed the house. I would have been like, what's back there?
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Which is exactly what he did, too.
Yeah. Eventually, the Snedekers contacted Ed and Lorraine Warren. The Warrens investigated the home and concluded that the activity was not simply paranormal, but demonic. According to Ed, the house had absorbed years of emotional and spiritual trauma during its time as a funeral home. He argued that repeated exposure to death and mortuary practices had opened the location up to malevolent spiritual forces. The Warrens recommended that members of the clergy become involved. According to their account, a series of religious interventions eventually took place, culminating in prayers intended to remove the alleged oppression affecting the family. Unlike some of the Warrens' earlier investigations, the details surrounding exactly what rites occurred have varied depending upon the source. Some accounts describe repeated blessings, others refer more generally to spiritual intervention. Regardless, the Warrens maintained that the family had been genuinely tormented by something inhuman. As the story spread, skepticism followed close behind. Journalist and paranormal investigator Benjamin Radford would later conduct an extensive examination of the case. Reviewing interviews, public records, and statements from individuals connected to the property, Radford concluded that many of the extraordinary claims could not be independently substantiated. He also reported difficulty locating evidence supporting some of the more sensationalized descriptions that had appeared in later retellings. Others questioned whether Philip's intensive cancer treatments, medications, emotional stress, and tremendous pressure placed upon the family might have influenced how certain experiences were interpreted. Supporters of the Snedekers strongly rejected those suggestions. They argued that multiple members of the household reported unusual events, making a purely medical explanation insufficient. Once again, the public found itself confronted with two competing narratives, one rooted in the supernatural and the other rooted in psychological grief and extraordinary stress. I don't think Ed Warren ever walked into a house and didn't find demons.
Yeah.
He probably walked into the local McDonald's and was like, yep, demons.
Oh my gosh, that is actually so funny because you're not wrong. But in his defense, out of all of these cases, apart from like Amityville, I would feel like this would be the most like true to believe it was haunted for the simple fact that it was a funeral home, not just a random house. Not all the claims that they're making, of course, because I genuinely do think that all the things that was happening to him, the medication and so on and so forth, would have a lot to do with him seeing certain things.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's definitely something in between, you know, like maybe him being like in this weak, fragile state allowed him to be open to something more like
susceptible.
That rather than it just being the house itself.
People dressed up as funeral directors, like, did they die in the house? Why are you seeing them as ghosts in the funeral home?
I mean, I think that kind of like goes back to like the residual energy thing, like things playing back on like a loop. You know, like if you die, you go back to like your everyday life, like why you're seen in your home, or sometimes you're seen at your job or whatever.
Yeah.
Especially in something like that where it's like a funeral home, but it's like a home, like people live there as well, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I didn't really think about it like that. I mean, the people that own the funeral home also live there.
Yeah, I mean, have you ever seen 6 Feet Under?
Mm-hmm.
Do I fucking love that TV show?
Oh, no. If it's a TV show, no.
Yeah. It also has Michael C. Hall in it.
Oh,
I love him. But yeah, so he like claimed that not only was it the energy from like grieving humans and the last place that people seen their loved ones and like the simple fact that it was a funeral home, he also claimed that the funeral directors were up to nefarious activity. Like, they were into the necrophilia and they were doing improper things to people's bodies.
That's a big accusation, though.
Yeah, it's a huge one.
Yeah, to just say all that with absolutely no proof of that whatsoever.
Yeah, I don't know how you would even prove anything like that, and that's probably why he does say these things. Yeah. He can get away with it.
That's a whole lot.
Then came another familiar pattern. The investigation became a book. In 1992, author Ray Garton published In a Dark Place, presenting the Warrens' account of the haunting. Years later, Garton would publicly discuss the difficulties he encountered while writing it. In interviews, he explained that members of the family sometimes gave conflicting versions of events. Garton recalled struggling to reconcile those inconsistencies while producing a coherent narrative. According to Garton's own account, he was encouraged by Ed to focus on telling an engaging story despite the contradictions he encountered. Exactly who offered that advice has been described differently in various interviews over the years. His comments have nevertheless become an important part of the broader debate surrounding the case. Supporters argue that trauma often affects memory, and that inconsistencies are common among witnesses to stressful events. Critics point to Garton's later statements as evidence that the published accounts blended reported experiences with dramatic storytelling. 17 years later, Hollywood revisited the case. Released in 2009, A Haunting in Connecticut introduced the story to an entirely new generation. Like many films inspired by real events, it condenses timelines, combines characters, added fictional sequences, and amplifies the supernatural elements for dramatic effect. For audiences, it was another terrifying haunted house story. For the Warrens, it represented yet another investigation entering popular culture. By this point, a pattern had become impossible to ignore. Different families, different decades, different locations. Yet each story followed a remarkably familiar trajectory. A reported haunting, the arrival of Ed and Lorraine Warren, public fascination, books, lectures, and eventually Hollywood. I have to, truly commend their entrepreneurial spirit. I really do. I do. If nothing else,
yes.
I do think they, missed their calling as, filmmakers, storytellers, and found footage in particular, because they have this way of blending things, real life things with the supernatural. They could have made a hell of a TV show.
I completely agree. And it's just crazy, going through all these cases to realize how many of these popular books, movies, TV shows, whatever they did for all of these cases are from the same people over and over and over again. But it really does show a pattern of what they were trying to do, how they were trying to do it, and why they were trying to do it. So, I mean, that's quite a few cases.
Yeah, I mean, and this is only some of them. I mean, we're highlighting the most popular, but they have tales of vampires and werewolves as well.
I did not even know that.
Yeah, it's wild.
Wow.
Yeah, the series that they have of books is really out there. I don't know how, I can understand reading a novel and being wow, this is great storytelling. Mm-hmm. But the fact that they post on the cover based on a true story or by the case files of Ed and Lorraine Warren, that's
what sells it though, you know?
Yeah,
because people want these things to be real, deep down, even if it's not deep down, always they're looking for something to make our life seem bigger than it is.
Yeah, I mean, it would be extraordinary. It is an awesome thing to think about, life after death in itself sounds, I don't know if that sounds awful or if it sounds great. I can't really tell.
Depends on where you are religion wise, I would think, but if that's something you believe in.
Take religion out of it though. If you believe in the afterlife and you believe in ghosts, what are ghosts? Are they in purgatory? Are they in real world? Are they in heaven? Are they in hell? What are they?
They're just interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know. They're just there. They're just there. I mean, I've never seen one. I've seen shadows and stuff, but not actual ghosts. So it's hard to say though, it's these cases really kind of make it seem like they're not real.
I
and
know.
that they're just doing things like, and it's hard to believe when someone, like, if something actually did happen, like it's almost like the boy who cried wolf, because what if some of these things did, and
absolutely
now they're not believed because of how they're going about it. So
I mean, I do believe that there is something paranormal happening in pretty much all of these cases that they've dove into, or that they've been a part of.
Because how do you just pull this shit out of thin air if nothing
But do they absolutely sensationalize it? Do they immediately go to demons? Every time it's demons. I don't know if they ever walked into a house and they were like, it's a ghost. It's the spirit of a dead woman, and
old ghost.
She misses her home, she misses her family, and that's just it. And whatever. The first case that we talked about that they had like no documentation on, it was like just called the Cynthia case, and it was talking about the spirit of a little girl, and it was like that was their only case that I ever seen that they were like, oh, it's just ghosts. I mean, granted, we did only like dig into their most popular ones, but it's like, is it just the fascination with demons that's made these cases blow up past?
Probably, because again, like, to bring religion back into it again, I think that ties into a lot of people, and that side of religion in particular, the demonic side, is where it makes things more believable, because people want to know what's happening after their life, in the afterlife. So
I don't know. I feel like it's hard to actually like grasp or understand what demons actually are.
It is a cosmic thing.
It is a very cosmic thing to like try to grasp or like wrap your mind around. And I guess maybe that is the fascination with the Warrens, because they claim to know.
Yeah, it's just something, and it's hard to think of something that evil. Like, just no soul, no light, no bright, no nothing. It's just dark and...
What do they want?
And nothing. It's just they're nothing.
They just want chaos? They just want people hurting, I guess? I don't know.
Yes,
well, then that's
what
cancer, okay?
Torture.
That's what cancer is.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They thrive on it.
With these families like experiencing this paranormal activity, which, like I said, I do think that it is possible they were. What led them to go along with this charade, or to like hype on it, to continue to encourage the story? And I mean, is it them also seeing the dollar signs and being like, oh, we can make a lot of money off of this, like we're financially going through a hard time? Like, what is it? Because even if they do think that they're going to make money from this, it's never a lot. It's not enough to essentially sell your soul out for.
Do you think they're selling their souls out?
I mean, to tell a story that you were essayed and put it out to the public and say that it was demons and causes fear, and I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't say necessarily like physically they're selling their soul, but like metaphorically, yeah. I mean, it's like the same thing that happens in Hollywood. Like, you're not physically selling your soul, but you're taking away like your moral code, your moral compass.
Yeah, and just outright lying. Yeah, but I think, I don't know, the worms seem pretty convincing, for one.
That's probably the biggest problem.
And these people are very vulnerable, for two, that in the state of mind that they're in and their experiences that they believe they're having. And then the Warrens come in, because these things that they didn't just, the Warrens came in after the fact.
Yes.
So like they're already experiencing these problems, but I do think that the Warrens absolutely hyped it up, sensationalized it, exploited the whole entire situation, and then said, hey, you know, we can turn this into a movie, and and then like these dollar signs start coming up, and they're like, well, I think it's a little bit of all of that.
I think it is too. Yeah, it is a mix of everything. This comes up in a greater extent with the next case we're going to talk about. Whether that pattern reflected the Warrens' unique ability to identify extraordinary cases, or their extraordinary ability to tell unforgettable stories, remains one of the central questions surrounding their legacy. But their next investigation would leave haunted houses behind entirely. This time, sequences would be inside a courtroom. For the first time in American history, a defense attorney would ask a jury to consider something almost unimaginable: not guilty because the devil made him do it. By the early 1980s, the Warrens had become almost synonymous with haunted houses. Families claimed their homes were occupied by unseen forces. The Warrens investigated, the media reported, books followed. But in 1981, their work crossed a line that no previous investigation had. This case would involve a homicide, a criminal trial, and one question that had never been seriously presented to an American courtroom. Can someone be held legally responsible if they claim a demon committed the crime? This is a super interesting question to even ask. And I feel like it did come up a little bit with the Amityville case as well, because he did try to claim that like the voices told him to do it. So the supernatural being involved in the courtroom isn't like a new phenomenon, but to like actually move forward and try to prosecute a man for that is, I feel like if that is admissible in court, then I'm sure there would be a lot of people claiming that the fucking devil made them do it.
I agree. And I think, there's a first time for everything. And, it's so hard because I have firsthand seen, and I want to go as far as to say that the devil took somebody over to make them do things that they didn't want to do. And that wasn't that person in that body at that moment in time. And
you're referring to mental
illness.
Yeah,
yes. I am very, very, very on the fence about it. I lean more towards the yes, that could possibly be the reason.
Yeah.
So it's very hard for me.
I do often rumble with the thought that maybe mental illness could be demonic, or your spirit going through this battle that is unseen.
And your spirit, but your mind, mind, your brain, you're in this whole different reality than the one that everybody else is in. So you're deep into that mind shift where it
I mean, I don't want to say that and be like, oh, people with mental illness are demons. No, absolutely not. But
no, but I think that sometimes they get so in their own head that and it's not demon. It's more that's their reality to them. That's their reality, that whatever is telling them to do it is real.
Yes.
So it's easy not easy for them, but for them to be able to say that, wasn't me,
I think it also puts a name to it too.
Yes.
Rather than, it's just these voices, it's this something that's quantifiable, something that I can make a statement on what it is.
Yes.
Rather than something super abstract, it was just in my head and I have no idea what it is.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it too. Yeah. And then I think now, someone in the attorney's position that's fighting for this person has to put themselves in their shoes and genuinely believe them that this is what happened in their head, and that's their job, and that's their job to be able to do that.
And it's the defense they're giving. Absolutely.
Yes. So it's, I think this one's going to be really interesting.
Yes, it is interesting. And it's probably the most frustrating to me. This involvement of the paranormal in the courtroom actually comes up in our next case that we're going to cover as well. So there's a nice little bridge to it.
Cool. All right.
The stories began months before anyone died. In the summer of 1980, 11-year-old David Glatzel began telling his family that he was seeing an elderly man inside the home that they were renovating in Brookfield, Connecticut. According to David, the figure appeared repeatedly, sometimes standing silently, sometimes threatening him. As the weeks passed, his family reported increasingly alarming behavior. David screamed through the night, claimed invisible forces were attacking him, and described terrifying visions that no one else could see. Concerned that something beyond ordinary explanation was occurring, the Glatzel family sought spiritual help. Eventually, they contacted Ed and Lorraine Warren. So how much do you actually know about this case?
I seen the movie.
You did see the movie? Okay.
Yes. Yeah, but I don't remember it. I've seen it only one time. So
yeah, what did you think of the movie?
I didn't mind it. I do think that
it was kind of forgettable, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it was.
I didn't mind it, but I think that maybe in this case, because of how interesting it is, I would have liked to see them do something way better with what they did.
Yeah, I mean, the source material is definitely there.
Yeah, the directors didn't really make it.
No,
a good enough movie to
this was the third Conjuring film, wasn't it?
Yes.
Okay, because I lost count.
Yeah, I think
I didn't even know where we
4.
were.
Yeah, because then they branched off.
So is 4 The Last Rites?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I didn't see that one yet. I don't know if I even want to.
I like that one better than this one.
Okay.
Yeah. I
What
like that
case
one
is that one based on?
Judy, their daughter, and her husband.
So it's like a family case.
Yeah, the nun lady is like Valak is like going after Judy. Like,
does this one also claim in the title, like based on true events?
I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know. Probably not.
I heard that they're also doing a mini series on HBO.
Oh, I haven't heard that at all. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll have to look up The Last Rites. I liked that one better than this one. I would definitely say it was more memorable.
I mean, like I said, I did watch it, begrudgingly watched it. I didn't want to watch it. But when I did, I just remember forgetting it almost instantly.
Yeah. Yeah, and I wanted to like it too because of like how interesting it was, kind of. I don't know, the movie kind of...
It droned on, didn't it?
Yeah, and it wasn't just, I don't know.
It wasn't engaging, I get
it.
According to the Warrens, they believed David was experiencing genuine demonic oppression that escalated into possession. I feel like I'm getting sick of saying this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, totally off script here, but like...
This one's different though, because the boy, like, someone died, someone was killed because of this demonic thing, but it's also like an actual possession that made somebody do something evil, like a demon would actually do.
Yeah.
Like, as opposed to just like,
I guess so.
Feeling weird
I'm just tired of Ed Warren saying that everything's demons.
Yeah, I agree.
Ed later claimed that he witnessed behavior that he believed could not be explained through conventional means. Lorraine described sensing multiple malevolent entities around the boy. As news of the case spread among clergy, several Catholic priests became involved. According to numerous accounts, a series of religious rites were performed over several months. Unlike the dramatic single-night exorcism portrayed in the film, these interventions were gradual, repeated, and carefully documented by those involved. The diocese has acknowledged that priests prayed with the family, though many details remain private, consistent with the church's long-standing practice of protecting those involved in alleged possession cases. So, as we talked about in episode 1 of this, the Warrens were not affiliated with the Catholic Church.
Right.
So, these people that they do bring in, they are actual priests. So, I mean, it is reported that these things were happening and priests were witnessing them. They did go to the Roman Catholic Church.
Yeah.
In order to do the exorcism. But as the Roman Catholic Church does, they want to do investigations of like psychological disorders, like, which
is fair.
Yeah.
They absolutely should.
It's a very extensive look at the family.
I'm actually so glad they did this and documented it, because they otherwise probably would not have been able to use this in court at all. It wouldn't even been looked at.
Okay. Well, we will get into that because, spoiler alert, it wasn't used in court.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But
unless it wasn't admissible.
No,
I mean,
it wasn't. The judge threw it out.
Wow.
We'll talk about it. But it's like speculated that the reason why the family didn't actually go through with these psychological evaluations was because they believed that the Warrens had the authority and the know-how and the wherewithal to tell them, like, it isn't necessary. Like, we can't wait for the Roman Catholic Church. Like, we have to do this.
They told them that?
It's speculated.
Wow.
Yeah. And
that's really irresponsible.
And these families at the time, like, of course they're going to believe them. At this point, they've been involved in like some of the most popular demonic cases. And I'm sure the Warrens go in there and they act knowledgeable and they have all these explanations for things. Yeah,
they
seem to care.
Put yourself in this 11-year-old boy's parents' position. Like, I had an 11-year-old at one point, and I would be terrified if these things were happening to my child. And you're lost, and you don't know where to go and where to
you're
turn.
Going to believe them,
and you're going to believe them. They're going to come in and they're going to care about what's going on, and they're going to try to help you where other people would be like, I don't want anything to do with this. So I can see where they would,
or just like first and foremost that the
them.
Warrens believe them. That's probably the
absolutely.
the simplest thing that they could do in order for the
And
Warrens to like get the key to these people is just telling them that they believe them.
And just like making them believe that their son's not really this psychotic or having these mental issues, that he's actually just possessed and we can fix him and this won't be like this forever, and they want their child back.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
taking advantage of anything.
If this is true that the Warrens told them, like, we can't wait on the Roman Catholic Church, and they allowed this child to suffer because they thought they could handle it, that's a new low for them.
Yeah, that's extremely irresponsible.
I mean, as far as like I've looked into them, that really like broke my heart about them, because I'm like, I can understand flourishing and embellishing the paranormal and all that like that, but like an 11-year-old's boy's
like that's someone's life. Yeah,
was being manipulated by something, and whether it's demons, whether it's a ghost, whether he was having a really hard time adjusting to life, whether it's any of that, like
they have their own child too. They should know better.
Yeah,
they really should.
It makes me sick.
Mm-hmm.
Living with the Glatzel family during portions of this ordeal was 19-year-old Arnie Cheyenne Johnson. Johnson was engaged to David's older sister, Debbie. He spent considerable time in the home and witnessed many of David's alleged episodes firsthand. According to several witnesses, Arnie became increasingly convinced that whatever was tormenting David was real. Then came one of the most discussed moments in the entire case. According to Ed and Lorraine Warren, Arnie confronted the alleged entity directly. Accounts differ slightly depending on the source, but the central claim remains consistent. Arnie reportedly challenged the demon. He allegedly demanded it to leave the boy and enter him instead. Whether those exact words were spoken has been debated, but both the Warrens and members of the Glatzel family later described a confrontation in which Arnie had intentionally placed himself between David and the force they believed was attacking him. The Warrens reportedly warned against provoking what they believed was a demonic entity. If the family's interpretation was correct, they believed Arnie had done exactly that. So this is a really big shift in this case, because at this point, like, we were talking about David, and now the person who actually committed this crime was actually Arnie Johnson.
Right.
So
yeah, I think it's really weird, but I do think that you can't invite a demon in. You can't do that.
Not.
So, I mean, you know.
You think it's possible that it just...
If you invite it in, possibly, yes. If that's what it was. If that's what was going on, if there was genuinely, and this is all speculation, of course, a demon in this little boy, and someone else invited him in, then yeah, that could happen.
Okay. I have other thoughts on it, but we'll get into that. You can't invite a
demon in. You can't invite it into your home, and you can't invite it into your body.
I was going to say, well, I don't think anybody really is just like, hey, come on, demons. Like, no, but no.
But that's what I'm saying.
Apparently he did.
He did, and he had a confrontation. He was beating him up. He's like, get out of him. You get into me right now.
Yeah, he's like, you know what? You sound nice.
Yeah. In the movie, too, it was a very elaborate, dramatic way of them doing this. Like, the little boy was getting, like, all beat up, and then he's like, leave him alone, take me.
I don't know exactly how it went down. I mean, the way the conversation happened is like, oh, take me instead type thing. But it's like, I've heard that in movies. I don't know.
When you invite it in, motherfucker, that thing is coming quicker than you can... Snap your fingers.
I have thoughts on it, but we will get into it.
All right.
For several months, life appeared to return to something resembling normal. David's condition reportedly improved. The frightening episodes became less frequent. Arnie and Debbie moved into an apartment together. Friends believed the worst was over. Then, on February 16th, 1981, everything changed. This is what I believe is crazy. So let's say it's real. Mm-hmm. And there's a demon possessing David. I want to walk that back because it stated that there were multiple demons, or what Lorraine allegedly says. There's multiple demons inside David or fighting for his soul.
Well, maybe he took the worst one and there was still a couple left because he was still having some. They just weren't as frequent, right?
No, they said that it pretty much stopped almost immediately. So what I don't understand is if he did have all of these demons, like, how does that happen? The demons are just like, oh, you know what, this guy is inviting us in. We're just going to let go of the one that we've been tormenting? No. If they're demons and they're demonic, like, no, they're going to stay in both of you now. They're going to claim you both, right?
Yeah, and the only now that I'm like really thinking into this, and this is on the realistic side, not the demonic side, maybe this little boy did have some sort of mental illness, let's say schizophrenia. Like, we're just gonna throw schizophrenia out there because he's seeing, hearing things and whatever. And say that they all convinced him, this little boy that doesn't know what's wrong with him, that he has a demon inside of him.
Ding, 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 ding.
And now you're convincing him that you took this demon away from him. So now his reality has shifted.
Yeah.
And it's only because he's schizophrenic. He doesn't really know reality from your reality, like vice versa. Yeah. And his reality shifted because you convinced him now that this is what's going on.
Yeah.
And now his episode stopped and he's believed in himself now that he doesn't have this demon in him anymore.
So David actually says, like, later in life that he was definitely dealing with something emotionally and psychologically. So, I mean, within his own words, I say that that's a pretty logical explanation to it.
Yeah.
Maybe not schizophrenic, because I know that can't just like come and go. I mean, it does come and go in like waves, like your symptoms usually. Like, it comes with manic and mania and whatever. But it can't just like disappear. Like, it can't just take your schizophrenia away.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say maybe he wasn't schizophrenic, but yeah, I'm sure maybe he was having hallucinations or whatever. I don't know. But either way, I think he was psychologically tormented at the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, 11 years old is like a big shift for boys, isn't it too? Like, isn't that when like they're going through puberty?
Yes.
Like, they're not only is their physical body changing, but their mind is also changing. Like, I don't know. It's a wild time for boys.
They were having their home renovated.
Yeah.
And just like stuff going on.
A lot of things going on.
Yeah, so I definitely think
not only that, but we don't
know
know exactly what was going on behind these closed doors. Like, we get what the movies tell us, we get what the Warrens tell us, we get what whoever wants to be interviewed for these things, like their perspective of it, but like nobody really knows what's going on behind any of these doors in any of these cases.
Yeah, and I guarantee you, even if you interviewed David, which it seems they did later on in life, he might not remember half the stuff that I don't remember what happened to me at 11 years old. Like, I mean, maybe a lot of the stuff.
I would remember that.
Well, some things,
but
not like specifics, like big things, but not like every little detail. Like, oh, I was feeling sad because someone called me a name at school today, or like,
maybe he didn't know what the jumping off point was.
Exactly. Like, either
way, though, the demons just being like, okay, we'll just leave you alone and jump to Arnie is like, how does that make sense? Like, even in their rationale.
I don't know. I could see it though. The walls are just falling down.
Is that what that is?
Yeah, falling into the.
You sure it wasn't a demon?
No,
You sure it wasn't a demon?
It's going through the walls right now.
Oh my God, it's jumping to me next. That afternoon, Arnie, Debbie, and several others gathered at the Brookfield Kennel, where Debbie worked for 40-year-old Alan Bono. By most accounts, the day began normally. The group had lunch together. Some witnesses later reported that alcohol had been consumed. Exactly what happened next had been the subject of testimony, police reports, and decades of discussion. According to witnesses, an argument erupted between Arnie Johnson and Alan Bono. The confrontation quickly became physical. Johnson pulled a pocket knife. Within moments, Alan Bono had been stabbed multiple times. He died shortly after from his injuries. Arnie fled the scene on foot. Police located and arrested him within hours. Unlike the haunting cases that had come before, there was no mystery about whether the crime had occurred. A man was dead. The question was why. I still cannot figure out why this crime happened. Like, there was speculation that there was some type of like love triangle going on, and
that's the first thing I would have assumed.
Yeah, like that Alan was like coming on to Debbie, and Arnie was like not having it and just exploded on him. I mean, if we take the paranormal out of it, that sounds, I wouldn't say reasonable. It's not reasonable to fucking stab a man over some type of lover's quarrel. But That sounds like the logical explanation.
Yeah. I completely agree. That would definitely been the first thing that I would have assumed, or
I mean,
something
I
like
guess
that.
I guess maybe we
don't
just
know.
don't know like where it escalated from. Like, were they having a fist fight and then he had a pocket knife on him and he was defending himself at that point? But it sounds like
Well, wasn't Debbie
he
there?
was yeah.
So what did she say?
I don't know.
Yeah, well, she'd be the first person I would ask.
The problem with this is that their claim is demonic possession. So they're
Even
not
Debbie
going
said
going to give us the logical explanation as to what happened.
Okay, but I mean, there could have still been some sort of quarrel, which
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like they would have known that from defensive wounds or just, again, like some sort of argument.
It's super hard because this case got muddled up, clearly. Like I'm assuming that the police did have their evidence of like what had actually occurred, but the fact that I would say that the Warrens meddled in this case and they claimed that he was demonically possessed and they put that forward. They did it to like
get him off the hook.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I could see where like the reality of things would have just like went out the window if they were solely focused on proving that this was possession, where they're just not even trying to bring up any logical thing into this situation. So
if let's say that this was just like a haunting, a standardized haunting, and the Warrens came in and they were like, oh, it's a ghost. Like I said, if it's just a ghost, this would not, I wouldn't say like it would not have happened, because I mean, if the man had it in his heart to stab another man, like you have that in your heart, whether you're demonically possessed or not.
Right.
But the fact that the Warrens put this in their heads that they have this to fall back on, like, oh, it was the demon. The demon
it wasn't
made me do
me.
it.
Yeah, like I would never do something like that. I was possessed. Yeah. If that's a reasonable defense for myself, if I committed some heinous act of murder and they were going to help me freaking try to convince people of the same, I would do it.
Yeah, I mean, especially if it was already documented that he had confronted this demon and invited the demon into him and his personality shifted shortly after. Like, I could understand them being like, okay, this is what happened. But if it was just a simple argument that escalated to death, like, I guess there is no other logical explanation if that's what they put forward. As investigators assembled the facts, Ed and Lorraine Warren advanced an explanation unlike anything American courts had ever encountered. According to the Warrens, Arnie Johnson had not acted entirely of his own free will. They argued that the same demonic force they believed had tormented David Glatzel had transferred to Arnie months earlier. If true, they claimed the homicide had occurred while Arnie was under demonic influence. It was an extraordinary assertion, one that immediately attracted national media attention. Headlines across the country began using the phrase, "The devil made me do it." For journalists, it was irresistible. For the legal system, it presented a challenge unlike any they had faced before, because American criminal law was built upon questions of intent, responsibility, and free will, not supernatural causation. Defense attorney Martin Manila explored whether evidence regarding the alleged demonic possession could be introduced during Johnson's trial. The idea generated enormous publicity. But before the case ever reached the jury ruled that testimony concerning demonic possession would not be permitted as a legal defense. The court determined that such claims could not be evaluated using the established rules of evidence. Instead, the trial proceeded as a conventional homicide case. In 1981, Arnie Johnson was convicted of first-degree manslaughter. He was sentenced to between 10 and 20 years in prison. He ultimately served approximately 5 years before being released on good behavior. The legal system rejected demonic possession as a defense, but outside the courthouse, the story was only beginning. So instead of speaking on the stand, the Warrens went on this massive media campaign and pretty much put this in everybody's head that the devil was involved in this case.
Oh God, they got some good marketing. I need them to come and
market our products.
Yeah, that's insane though. Like I don't know why they didn't just plead insanity at that point. Like, is there something where they could have wrapped that into it and used that as some sort of a defense? I mean, granted, he only got 5 years for murdering somebody.
Yeah, that's like, kind of crazy.
That in itself is insane, but
there's something seriously wrong with our legal system.
Yep. But I mean, if the Warrens are behind you and everybody else in the country is behind you and you have this enormous pressure, like, I don't know. They say that judges aren't influenced, but I really think they are in stuff like this.
It makes me question, like, if the Warrens really believe the things that they say. Because let's say they do believe what they say and they were trying to get a man off, like, who committed a murder under demonic possession, or they're trying to get a murderer off.
Yeah, I mean,
because like no matter how you slice it, they're attempting to have a man not serve time because of either A, he was demonically possessed, or B, he just murdered a man. Like, so either, no matter how you slice it, they're doing something wrong here, right?
Yeah. And I mean, if they genuinely believed him, which they had to have, if they really were going to bat for this guy that they genuinely believed was possessed by a demon, I mean, I would hope at the back end of all of this, we just hope and pray that their intentions are in the right place, but we don't know. I mean, if they thought he was possessed and they were there to try to help get him off because of he didn't know what he was doing and they knew that was the case, then okay, then I'll get them some grace.
Either way, he murdered a man.
Yeah.
I don't care if there was possession behind it, if there was mental illness behind it. I don't, like, you still murdered a man. And the Warrens are compliant. But we don't know if it was self-defense.
We don't know any of that. So that's what I'm saying. Like, we don't know the cause. So, like I said, and I hate to keep referring to the movie, but I don't really know this case otherwise.
Yeah.
But like, it did seem like it was some sort of self-defense. I don't know if he was messing with his girlfriend, or I don't know what, they worked at a dog kennel together. Maybe he was messing with the dog and something happened and he got pissed off about that. And he was like, pick on someone.
I mean, I guess at that point it is just like word of mouth accounts. Like, nobody really knows what happened. And if, let's say, even if we did have a witness account, like, who's to say, like, let's say Debbie attested to what happened.
Yeah, and I'm sure she's going to take Arnie's side.
That's what I'm saying.
So,
and after this, the Warrens had put all of this in their heads, like, all of it, like this demonic possession of David and it transferring to Arnie. Like, of course she's going to say, like, oh, demons too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's you also need to look into Arnie's character, because I think that would have a lot to do with some sort of reasoning behind it. Because if he wasn't, that was completely out of his character to do, then maybe that is believable that he was possessed. So
I guess we don't really know his character prior or previously to the murder itself, or even what his character was like during this alleged possession.
Mm-hmm. Right. It's all this speculation.
I'm still just a little triggered by the fact that the Warrens were trying to get a murderer off.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's not where they should be placing themselves in any sort of murder situation.
They need to get themselves away from that, but it did exactly what they wanted it to.
Yeah. Oh, yep. They tied that in a pretty little bow.
I feel like even more so, because it's like, though he did serve time, he only served 5 years.
5 years?
And it would probably, I don't know if it said that he was released on like good behavior or whatever, which is even crazier, because if he was released on good behavior, there was
possessed by a demon.
No. I'm sorry, but just no.
Right.
It doesn't work for me.
Yeah. I agree. I like how unique that this is, though. Like, I have a degree in criminal justice.
Okay.
So that's what I have a degree in. And I think that this would have been a very, very interesting case to be involved in.
What would you do? Like, you just, like you said, you had a background in criminal justice, but like you wouldn't be like, you wanted to be like a cop or something.
I would probably be on a prosecutor's side more than a defense attorney's side, because there's no way I would sit there and defend a murderer.
Yeah, that's going to be a really hard job.
Yes, it is.
It's
but
either A, you believe that they're wrong, or B, like, I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Or you don't need to believe. This is what I learned. You don't need to believe your client. You just need to fight for them. Like, that's your job. That's your job. You don't have to believe. It helps if you believe them. It really helps if you believe them, but you
I'm
don't
wondering
have to.
what like the statistic is of like how many defense attorneys actually believe their clients.
Well, they're not in there for sitting on their couch eating Cheetos and watching TV by themselves.
Yeah.
So obviously something happened that they're in that courtroom.
Mm-mm.
Wrong place, wrong time can't be every time.
Yeah.
So
that kind of comes up again in the next case we're going to cover. It's very interesting.
okay. All right, cool.
It's cool that the two worlds kind of collide because it is a rare occurrence where you're like, oh, the paranormal is involved in legitimate crimes, but
I mean, it's a part of our life in general, though. I mean, not an everyday life, but our world, our spiritual world, and just the world that we live in. Spiritual aspects are a part of it, just as much as real is.
yeah, but like, so, I still don't think there's a single case where it's been admissible in court, right?
I wouldn't think there would be.
Will it ever, do you think?
I don't know, because people would abuse it.
Yeah.
People would so abuse, like, oh, the devil made me do it.
Yeah, I mean, that was my thought exactly, that everybody would use that.
Some people are just pure evil. That doesn't mean that the devil made you do it. And if you don't believe in the devil, then you can't believe that he made you do it either.
Yeah.
So that's a whole argument in itself.
This is turned into like a theological discussion, but it is something to really think about. Mm-hmm. Well, once again, Ed and Lorraine Warren had become connected to a case that would evolve far beyond police reports and trial transcripts. It would become a best-selling book, a media sensation, and decades later, another chapter in a billion-dollar horror franchise. From a legal standpoint, the case was over. For Ed and Lorraine Warren, it was just beginning. The phrase, "the devil made me do it," spread across newspapers throughout the country. Talk shows debated whether demons could influence human behavior. Religious leaders weighed in. Psychologists offered compelling explanations. Others questioned whether genuine possession had been confused with mental illness. For perhaps the first time in modern American history, a murder case had become part of the national conversation surrounding the supernatural. In 1983, author Gerald Brittle published The Devil in Connecticut, chronicling the Warrens' investigation into the Glatzel family and the death of Alan Bono. The book presented the case largely through the Warrens' perspective. To believers, it documented one of the clearest examples of demonic influence ever investigated. To skeptics, it raised new questions. Those questions became even more complicated decades later. In 2006, David Glatzel, the boy whose alleged possession had set everything in motion, publicly challenged a narrative that followed him since childhood. In interviews, David claimed he had never been possessed by demons. Instead, he argued that years of trauma, intense religious intervention, and public attention had permanently altered the course of his life. His brother, Carl Glatzel, voiced similar criticisms. Together, they alleged the Warrens and author Gerald Brittle had profited from their family's suffering. The Glatzel family filed a lawsuit against Brittle and the Warrens, alleging defamation, invasion of privacy, and emotional distress. The litigation drew renewed attention to the case. Ultimately, portions of the lawsuit were dismissed. The legal proceedings did not establish whether demonic possession had occurred. Instead, they underscored a different reality. Even the people closest to the events could not agree on what happened. So though this case was thrown out, so there was no settlement, it's whatever.
I should have been.
Gerald Brittle took the books from the shelf.
What do you mean?
Like he removed the book.
Like physically, like went to the library and took the book.
No, like he pulled it from like pressings, from printings, from sales.
Okay.
Yeah.
Huh, good.
So like, does that add more credence as to like what David Glatzel was actually claiming?
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah, because at this point, people are turning against the Warrens and other people seem to be right on the same train because they probably know how exploitative they are.
Yeah. So the family did profit from the book sales of The Devil in Connecticut. What do you think would be like a fair amount for a family to receive?
What year was this?
1983, I want to say, yeah.
Couple $100,000.
Couple $100,000?
Yeah. I'd be happy with that. How much? Tell me the number.
The family received $2,000.
Stop.
Yeah.
Stop.
Yep. And I looked like high and low. I was like looking into like the Warrens' net worth. It did range. Some places put it around 4 million. Others put something around the billion mark.
What?
Yeah.
That's a big gap, first of all.
Yeah.
And you're going to pay these people who you made, I'm going to saying millions off of.
Yeah. I mean,
definitely
regardless,
think it's more
millions.
than 4 million.
Yeah.
$2,000?
Yeah.
I would have sued the shit out of them.
So, like, if this family only received $2,000, it was hard to figure out what the other families received for all the other cases that they did. But, I mean, they've built their fame and fortune off of giving these people chump change.
Wow.
Yeah.
I would have sued the shit out of them.
Yeah, well, he
for
tried.
defamation. I would have. Why did it not go through? I don't see how. Maybe because they did profit off of it.
Maybe that was a statement as to why, because
it was thrown out because they were like, well, you went along with it and you signed here on the line.
I was going to say, I would assume it's because the families did eventually sign off on these things, just like they did in the parent case.
That's insane.
Yeah.
See, that's why you got to put royalties in your contract.
Yeah.
That's what those are for.
I assume with something like this, you're like, there's no way it's going to like be
but it's the
that
Warrens.
Popular.
And at this point, this is the 6th case out of God knows how many, like the 6th popular case that we talked about at least. Mm-hmm. This is the Warrens.
Yeah, by the 80s, the Warrens were popping off.
Yes.
I mean, they were popping off. They were writing books and magazine articles and doing lectures and touring, whatever. But like at this point, like the movies are still not even involved in this. So
yeah, I would have got royalties.
Think about the amount of money that they made just from like The Devil Made Me Do It.
That's insane.
It's crazy.
$2 measly weasley $1,000.
Yeah.
And this poor boy, his whole life that he had to deal with this.
Yeah, I would imagine. Like, I would change my name. I don't know. Like,
right.
I mean, because let's say like it was something that he was just like dealing with emotionally, and it was put out to the public like he was demonically possessed at 11 years old. Like that changes the trajectory of your entire life.
100%.
Like think about going to school and being made fun of, and I don't know, like your entire life is shifted because of that. Because 2 people walked into your door and said you are demonically possessed.
That's insane.
So I also did discover that there was another movie about this. And it was in 1983, and it starred Kevin Bacon and Andy Griffith. I watched portions of it.
Mundane.
Yeah, kind of more boring, I guess. I mean, but I don't know. I thought the Conjuring movie was boring too, so maybe these people just ain't doing it right.
They spiced it up a little bit.
Ed and Lorraine Warren never retreated from their original conclusions. Until the end of their lives, they maintained that David had experienced genuine demonic possession, and that Arnie Johnson had willingly challenged the entity they believed was responsible. Supporters viewed that consistency as evidence of sincerity. Critics argued it demonstrated an unwillingness to reconsider extraordinary claims in light of conflicting testimony. Nearly 40 years later, Hollywood returned. Released in 2021, The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It brought the story to audiences around the world. The film opens with an elaborate exorcism. Demons move from one body to another. The Warrens become detectives racing against time to stop another murder. It was never intended to be a documentary. The real case was considerably more restrained and considerably more complicated. No evidence presented in court established demonic possession. No legal precedent recognizing supernatural influence was created. The courtroom dealt with evidence. So, has your opinion changed on the Warrens?
Oh, God, yeah. That's so crazy.
After all of this.
Oh, God, yeah. Yes. Yeah, I really do think like by the end of everything, which I guess I didn't realize like how I've only seen the Conjuring movies like before all of this. I've heard of the Warrens, of course, but I only heard of them because of the Conjuring movies. I never really knew about them. But just knowing what I know now, because they are nothing like the characters in those movies, the complete opposite types of people. Love them in the movies. And in real life, I think that they are money hungry, exploitative.
It does seem extremely tactical what they did, because it was literally the exact same script every single time.
They like took this like whole thing and they really ran with it, which is great. Like, because they made a business out of it. They made their careers out of this. And it seems like, and I recall from the beginning of all of this, when we were talking about them specifically, they were living out of their car at one point. I mean, they had no money. They didn't have anything. They made a career where they otherwise wouldn't have had one, and they worked for it, I would say. I would give them that. They worked for it.
I definitely credit their entrepreneurial spirit.
Yeah.
I really do. I mean, that takes a lot of guts to just go out there and present these things as fact. I mean,
it's just the fact of, it's not what they did for them. Like, I'm happy what they did for themselves, but I'm not happy what they did to the other people that were involved.
Yeah, it was an empire built off of the backs of others.
Yes. I'm very conflicted.
Yeah.
I'm very conflicted because I like and appreciate what they did for the paranormal community. My love personally of the paranormal in real life, I'm very just sad for a lot of the people that were involved in these cases. And I do think that they, specifically the Warrens, changed their life quite a bit, and not for the better necessarily. So,
I mean, look at the Perrin family now. I mean, after The Conjuring came out, they were walking the red carpet right there with Vera Farmiga. Like,
yeah,
it's like a case study on what human beings are capable of. I don't know if the Warrens actually helped establish the paranormal or if they heard it, because so often this was the case where they presented it as fact and it was only their say. It was only what they said it was. It was rarely presenting evidence.
Yeah, and that's where you need to be able to not be a sheep and just follow along with what people tell you too. So, yeah, I mean, believers, skeptics, there's always going to be a little bit of each. And you really have to look at these cases like from your own perspective.
And I'm definitely skeptical, but I'm not to the point where I believe that everything is not paranormal. Like, I believe that the paranormal does happen, but it's not something that I physically have experienced, so it's hard to say.
Yeah, and you have to trust yourself, I feel like it's when you think about these things and not just the word of other people.
Yeah, absolutely.
You need your own evidence and your own things to make yourself a believer, no matter what anybody tells you. And you can see evidence of videos they captured, and you're going to hear EVPs of stuff that someone else captured. And unless it's something that you, I feel like, got your own evidence of by either hearing it, seeing it, whatever, with your own eyes.
I was going to say, if I was like in these houses with these people living their lives, or I was like a neighbor that came by and experienced these things, absolutely, I am on your side. And I maybe would always be questioning, why is it always demons? Like, that's what I would question. But do I believe that genuine paranormal things happen? Absolutely. I mean, we've experienced things, but it's just always something rational in my brain. And not only that, I feel like we're gonna have a bigger question in proving the paranormal now that like AI and technology exists, and AI is getting so much better at what it does. Granted, it's not on Canva, but
I know. I was thinking the same thing, because with videos and EVPs, I mean, you can fake so
much of it.
You can fake everything now. So it's really just becoming so unbelievable because of that. You really, unless you're like in the moment, here and now, and you experience it right then and there, I feel like anything you freaking hear or see online anymore is fake. It's fake.
I feel like it's kind of scary though, because it makes us kind of start questioning our own reality.
Yeah. God, I don't even want to go down that rabbit hole.
No, it is a rabbit hole, and I dive down it rather frequently, and I'm triggered almost on the daily.
The internet triggers me quite a bit too.
Yes, it does. Especially when I'm like digging into this stuff. Like, there's lots of creators that have dug into the Warrens, and I would say I found more content not in support of them now than I have in support of them.
I can see why.
Yeah.
I can see why now that we've done these cases, and now I know more. I can definitely see why.
I love horror, so I have to appreciate it, but I appreciate the art form, but I don't appreciate the art of lying. Looking back across the Warrens' most famous investigations, certain patterns begin to emerge. Different states, different families, different decades. Yet every story shares familiar themes. A family experienced something they cannot explain. Fear grows, help is sought. The Warrens arrive. The case attracts attention, books follow, lectures, television, eventually Hollywood. To some, that pattern demonstrates a lifetime devoted to helping frightened people. To others, it reflects an extraordinary ability to recognize stories that would capture the public's imagination. Perhaps there is truth in both. Perhaps that explains why the Warrens continue to fascinate us. Not because every case has been proven, and not because every claim has been disproven, but because they occupy a space where history, faith, psychology, folklore, and entertainment all intersect. Maybe the truth exists somewhere between those two extremes. For more than 50 years, Ed and Lorraine Warren invited the world to look into darkness. Whether they found demons, misunderstood tragedies, or simply unforgettable stories, is a question history is still trying to answer. Because in the end, the most enduring mystery may not be whether ghosts exist. It may be why, generation after generation, we continue searching for them. That's all I have for today.
Okay, guys, that was this week's episode. That was the final part in the Warren Files. And next week, we will be diving into Voices from Beyond the Grave. We will see you then. Bye.
Bye.